do you know what? I saw you in the back, Brian, and you literally unzipped your hoodie like in this mad manner. I'm excited for this. I want to hear words of wisdom.
Let's have it.
First of all, apologies it's taken so long. I was going to do it at the Scotland Yard, and when I do it in the library, some people decided to sit down and have dinner there. I mean, how disrespectful is that?
Yeah,
so
how dare they read books in silence? Yes.
I had to trek it all the way goddamn home and get it. I had a nightmare of Uber. But all I want to say to start off with is after years and years of trying, my time machine finally works. We're back with Alex Ferguson when he says it's only Tottenham. This is what happens all the goddamn time. How many times do I say on this channel or other channels, we go to these places and we play the occasion, not the game?
Yeah.
And once again, we have turned up Specsavers without a fucking point. Do you know, against Manchester United, the Filth and Chelsea, they have had 66 shots against us. 66. That's 3 games. There is a fundamental mentality issue at this football club.
Yeah.
We go to the big boys and it's like, oh, don't hurt me, don't take my lunch money.
Yeah.
And for all the people that come on here and then comment on YouTube, I'm negative, I don't know what I'm talking about, let me just have a bit of fun with them. That was fantastic football. Breathtaking. Beautiful. Beautiful football we played. Enthralling. Passionate. If we showed as much passion, determination, aggression, fight, character as the 12th man and that amazing away support do, every single time 100%. We have a shot.
Yeah.
They turn up every single game, no matter what, no matter if it's Leicester away, if it's Brentford away, if it's Chelmsford in the Cup, if it's at Old Trafford, and we sit here and this performance was laughable, was absolutely laughable. And Hugo Lloris, everyone going, oh, he had a great game and some great saves. He was half the problem with his fucking short passing, which gives me heart attacks.
No, every time.
His distribution, don't get me wrong, it's Jekyll and Hyde. His shot stopping, and his reflexes, best in the world, one of the best in the world, easily still.
Yeah.
His distribution is laughable. And I'm sorry, I know Stel came on and said this has got nothing to do with Conte, and to an extent he's right, but listen, this guy wins shit wherever he goes. If he can't light a fire up their arse and then once again say, we have to go into war, and when you go into war, it's just like saying when the players come out at the end and go, do you know what? We have to learn from this.
But Brian,
we have to learn. We're thick. We don't learn.
Yeah, Brian, why is it we don't learn? Is it because Conte's saying these things? If you're talking to players who have got winning mentality, right? Players who are mentally strong and are technically gifted and are good players, right? Would they not need it as much as, say, other players would? Because the way that Conte's talking, to me, it seems like he's really trying everything he can to motivate these average players, bar a few of them in the team, right? To try and give us something that maybe we shouldn't keep trying to expect from these average players.
So when you look at this, let's have a look at this squad. Hugo Lloris, World Cup winner, knows how to get the job done. Romero, Copa America winner, knows how to get the job done. Perisic, Champions League, Leagues, World Cup final, knows how to get the job done. Tell me another player in that squad, Longley with France. Tell me another player in that squad that has the mentality of turning up at the big games when it matters. Forget Harry Kane and his goals. I'm not talking, he scores goals. Today he was anonymous. But where are the players we go on about? Son and Kane, wonderful, wonderful players. Incredible, world-class, elite. Have they got it done in the big games?
So then does that make them elite then?
Mate, this is what we've got to question ourselves. And the thing is, like Stel said as well, and like we've all said, what happens when you spend money, you need to bring in quality. And not just quality on the pitch, people with the fucking nous up there to say, right, this is how we see the game through. I've been here, done that, follow my lead. I'm going to grab this game by the scruff of the fucking neck and drag you guys through it.
Yeah.
It's 3-4-3 we look clueless without Kulusevski. Today, everyone was calling out for 3-5-2, and I was one of the biggest. And we did it against Everton at home. We did it at Leicester at home. I wanted the three to cut off Man U's creativity.
Yeah.
Luke Shaw was playing like Paolo fucking Maldini. He can't even get in the squad.
Yeah.
But here you go, Tottenham. Let's all roll over. But it doesn't matter because we've got Conte and we play great, and we got a great stadium with 2 pitches. This is all good. It's all bullshit. Every single time. You know what we've got to stop doing as fans as well? And I'm a huge culprit of this. A huge culprit. So I held myself accountable for this. We play Arsenal. We play Chelsea. We play United. Do you know what? We're stronger now. We're better. This is the time. This is the time. Every single time we stand there and say, yeah, we're going to do it. This is the best time. Every time we put our faith and belief and trust in these guys. And what happens?
Yeah.
What happens? Because we sit here as a fan base and allow it.
Do you then think then, Brian, then this mentality, where is it stemming from? Because it seems like you bring him.
Oh, don't ask him that question. We know what's coming there.
Mate, now listen.
It's like any player we bring in, right? It's like they seem to whether they've got this top mentality from before, they seem to kind of get embedded into this Tottenham mentality, and it's like the Tottenham mentality takes over their mentality.
They get dragged in,
and they get dragged in. Like Si was saying about Romero today.
Kulu and Bentancur came in, right, and they transformed us in January, right? The rest of the team was still average. We changed things in the summer. But I still feel like, I don't know if Conte has a list and they just don't listen to him or whatever. Because, there was names, Brian, wasn't there? Like Bastoni and all these players, right? But as usual, we don't get them, or we get a cheaper option, or we wait till January or the next summer so we can get them half price, whatever it might be. And we continue to struggle with average players that have been 5, 6, 7 years there that should know what they're doing, but they seem to not still know what they're doing. So it's almost like this exact point is actually a circumference, if you like, of what I was saying earlier about Romero, is that he's now being dragged into average like quality because of people around him and the mentality, right? And I feel that's happening with Bentancur now. Obviously, Kulu's missing because of injury and stuff, but I feel like if Conte had a list of 11 players, I would say like 3 or 4 of them would be who are in the team right now, but the rest of them would be nowhere near it. And he's got no choice, and he's got no bench to go to. So there is a problem up there, or recruit. I have no doubt in my mind, mate, that Paratici has his list as well. And I guarantee it's not being listened to, or it's being, what's the better, cheaper option here? Let's just get that one in instead. And it's apparent in these big games this season. Today was unacceptable, and I've seen the players that lifted us last year were like, this guy, we need players on this level, are now being dragged down to here, and they've now got a mentality already that, actually, we're not going to turn up to this one today. Sorry.
Yeah, well, mate, listen, people have called it, and I've heard it for a while, and there's people that won't say a bad word about players because God knows why. Romero has been fucking shocking as a defender. And listen, a lot of it is because he's been forced back from injury too quickly.
Yeah, of course.
Then goes to Argentina on international duty. Then flies back late for the North London derby. What do you expect him to do? And why does he need to play there? Because he's our best defender. And why does he need to play every time he's fit? Because there's no suitable backup to replace him. This has been a fundamental. You got to remember, under this board, as long as we get top 4, that's the aim. Anything above is a bonus.
Yeah.
That's not the mental. Forget the cup. Yes, Daddy,
I want to ask you. Do you think that it's also because what I've seen this season in the competitions we've played in so far, it's pretty much been the same 11, really, give or take maybe 1 or 2, 3, if that players. It's consistently the same players. So there's no rotation really at the moment. We haven't really had the rotation that Conte said that he was going to do after the last international break. Do you not think that maybe it's also because he can't rotate the players because number one, we don't have the players to rotate, or number 2, the ones that he is playing is the only ones he really trusts to try and get something out of the game, even if they're not playing well?
Danny, for me, it's not even that. You look at, I know this is a different Man U to what got battered at Brentford, but Brentford said, go attack them. Go attack them. Go for it. Go for the jump. And there's teams we should be doing that against, and we just don't. The players are out there that can do it. Look how we looked in that 3-5-2 against Everton. When I'm not saying we should have been. Everton aren't as good as United are, clearly, but we cut off their oxygen. They didn't have an attempt on goal or a sniff, and we peppered their goal.
Yeah.
Well, why aren't we doing that against big teams? We give them too much respect.
Yeah.
And say, oh, let's just sit back and try and get them on the counter attack. We need to go for. People know we're coming into town. It's like, right, they're just going to sit back.
Yeah.
They will try and get us on the counter attack. So let's combat that, and that's what they do. Whereas if we'd come out on the front foot, they'd be like, oh shit, we didn't prepare for this. We don't know what we're doing. And Danny, do you know what? Fair play. I've been wanting to say this whilst I've been on shows, but I'm even happier now that you're on show, or wanted to say when you're on show. When United signed Martinez and Anthony, you were on Twitter regularly saying these players are great players or good players, and they are going to be very, very, very good players, and they will do well in a Man U team. And you came in for a lot of grief. A lot of grief, and a lot of it going,
Brian,
oh, you don't know what you're
I had Spurs fans, everyone attacking me. Everyone.
That's what I'm saying. You have people,
threats,
you
all
have
sorts
people
of shit.
coming at you saying you don't know what you're talking about. What Dutch football do you watch? Not knowing that your wonderful partner, Mrs. Mrs. Kiriakou, is fucking in Amsterdam and watches Ajax religiously. And they've come to the Premier League, especially Anthony, and done exactly what you said.
He looked lively.
So fair play to you for coming out and sticking by it. These players have come in and had an immediate impact.
Yeah, Martinez had Kane in his back pocket all night, and Anthony was ripping apart Perisic all game.
And everyone said Anthony, Martinez is too small to play in the Premier League. Okay, go up against Harry Kane.
Well,
and look, and you know,
I was going to say
the other thing is,
go on, Brian.
Go on, Danny, you finish. Okay, all right. What was I say?
One of you.
You go.
One of you.
You go. You go, brother.
No, I was saying, Stel was saying it's clear and evident today that the players like Martinez, Anthony, Bruno Fernandes, Eriksen, Casemiro are just technically better players and better quality than what we had out on display tonight. And it proved it because they absolutely destroyed us. Should have been more. We were lucky it was 2-0 tonight.
Well, Bruno Fernandes should have been in the Spurs shirt. We know what happened there. Levy out. Mate, listen, it's happened, and once again, I don't know how we're going to stop this. But when we play, and I said beforehand, I was more worried about Newcastle than this game, and I still am. Obviously, that game's gone. I mean, Newcastle are nightmares for us. They really, really are. Apart from last season, where this 3-4-3 was going on. But like I think Hassan said, if Emerson Royale starts that game against Newcastle ahead of either Doherty or Spence, then we know there is a fundamental problem at this club. A fundamental problem within this club, because this actual position is just ironic that it's this position has been a problem since Kyle Walker left, and literally will carry on being so. We'll carry on being so till we splash the money or give Jed Spence a chance. But yeah, it's just same shit, different day.
Yeah.
Got some from Yuri, actually. He said, we have to face the logical fact that we still have Spursiness and there is only 4 players left, Lloris, Dyer, Son and Kane. I assume that's relating to the players we've still got from the old guard, as it were. Assuming that. But yeah, I think there's just like a philosophy that's just indented in Tottenham, Brian. Like, it's just been on for years. We point the fingers at the hierarchy and stuff. Still, things don't change, but we always get that like paving over the cracks for a bit of time, and then we forget for a bit. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, like halfway through a season, things like this happen. As I said earlier, like I don't want to jump into it too much because it's very easy to do after a loss. Like after the wins, to my defense, and Danny said similar, and I'm sure you guys out there have said the same as well. Every time I come out of a Spurs game at home with my dad, and we always saying like we scraped through that, I don't feel like comfortable that we like annihilated the team or felt comfortable with it. And it's been like that all season. But then we also said, including people on the radio and even the Spurs player and manager themselves, said at some point we're going to get unstuck here and found out. And hey presto, the Arsenal game came out And we did exactly that. And we've done exactly the same tonight. So what the hell is going on at Tottenham still? Like, because for me, it's still paving over these cracks and we're being found out. And as we said earlier, with the points now that we've accumulated against what we would argue the top 6 teams, I don't know if we played all the top 6 teams yet, but we've only got 1 point out of that. And even that was ridiculously lucky in some ways. Are we progressing? Is Conte still the right manager here or not? Or is it... I generally see a path here, Brian, and I think you and I had this conversation a few months back, even in the summer, or even last year. Conte was the best signing we could have had as a manager because it will show everything for what it's worth at Tottenham. In a management perspective, the hierarchy and everything, because we know that Conte will not get backed. He will not get the players of his caliber required to go and challenge for something. He's doing the best he can with the players he's got, as have the 2-3 previous managers that we've had at Tottenham, right? When the hell does this change? And I do, as I mentioned, find it easy to pinpoint this after a loss. It's always the go-to thing. But actually, it's very factual right now, especially today, to see the average side of majority of those players out there. And it's a distinct answer as to how poor the recruitment is and how emotional perhaps we are as fans or as a club in general to hold on to some of these players and not replace them with players that we really need. We still don't have a playmaker, Brian. Like, for God's sakes, United just went, yeah, we just got smashed by Brentford. Let's just go and spend about 100 million on 2 or 3 decent players. It's fixed them. Pretty much. They're not perfect yet, but it's fixed them. And we're sort of still trundling along, and we will still get found out. I guarantee it. We're
still trying to replace Kyle Walker.
We're trying to replace all our players, Brian. What's going on?
Mate, listen, like I said, you look at this, and people know how alleviated I am. So this is when Alex Ferguson said it's only Tottenham, nothing's changed. Nothing has changed there. Personnel have changed. Listen, 14 managers have come and gone. Plethora of players have come and gone. Some superstars, some not. Some absolutely diabolical, some not. The players have to take a lot of responsibility as well. Don't get me. Listen, as much as I want to blame everything on that parasite, and I do blame a hell of a lot of it, at some point, these players who are professional at what they do have to take some accountability for their actions over the years, even in this current squad. I am sick and tired of hearing, oh, yeah, well, we tried, we let the fans down, we move on from here, we promised to come back. But that only washes so many times. It only washes so many times. And what we've got to do now is we have got to try and ascertain what players are here and are going to fight for this badge and going to fight alongside Conte. You've got to remember, Conte, wherever he goes, listen to him, equals trophies. It's facts. It's not me making shit up. Give him what he wants or the tools that he needs around him. Not saying get every single one of his targets, because as a club, we just physically and will not do that. But get a majority. So if we're going to sign 4 players in January, make sure 3 of them are what Conte wants. And Conte says this player specifically, not a carbon copy, not a one for the future, not a rising to go get that player. Because it's speculate to accumulate time, and you bring in the better players. Conte gets the football and style he wants, the players he can trust. We go higher, we make more money as a club. Levy's happy. The chairman and the board have a huge chunk of responsibility. But it's time now where the players of this we could all go on this football club. There's 670 odd watching right now. Every single one of them right now could go on that pitch and put more pride, passion, and a better performance for free. For free, we would do it.
I agree.
Than that team. And the players have now got to start taking accountability just as much as that bald-headed parasite.
Brian, you're absolute pleasure.
Always a pleasure, guys. Always a pleasure.
Always. I love you very much. And
just feeling straight back at your side, brother. I'll be seeing you soon.
Absolutely, my friend. Take care. And it's been
will do, Danny, brother. We'll speak soon.
We'll speak soon.
Everyone in the chat, have a great evening. And as always, Levy.